So the question that everybody is asking is, why did Brian kill Gabby? I don't know why Brian killed Gabby. And based on what I have just been able to find from, what's available on the internet, the documentary, that kind of stuff, I don't think anyone knows exactly why Brian killed Gabby. But knowing patterns of people with cluster B personality disorders and more like narcissistic traits, and more specifically, to include narcissistic personality disorder, they typically do, sadly, one of three things whenever they sense that they're losing control over their victim. And I think there is a ton of evidence to suggest that that was going on at the time. Brian was losing control over Gabby. She was reaching out to her former boyfriend. She was reaching out to her mom. She was saying that she was going to leave him. She was thinking of a plan to leave him. And one of her last texts even said that she could make more money as a single female van life person than she could with him. And so she was going to go out on her own. So there's significant evidence to suggest that she had it with him, had it with his destructive behaviors and abusive behaviors. She was ready to leave him. And he probably knew. He probably knew that. We're not exactly sure, based on what's available to the public, how those last few hours went down, but it feels like he knew that she was going to leave him. She was getting the van and she was going to go on her own. And so what someone with narcissistic traits or outright narcissistic personality disorder will do when they're starting to lose control of their victim is one of three things. The first thing they'll try to do is they'll try to love bomb them again. And so the pattern with a narcissist is that they love bomb you. So you get attached to them, then they start devaluing you. So the victim's like, what's going on? And then they, go and love bomb you again so that you stay with them. And then they devalue you. And whenever you're close to leaving because you're being treated like garbage, then they love bomb you again. And so it's this oscillating pattern back and forth of really good times and highs and really bad times and lows. And so often what they will do whenever they're losing control and they know that their victim is going to leave or tell on them for what they're doing is they'll love bomb them. And whether Brian tried that route or not, we're not sure. Like, no one knows that. At least no one, it's not out in the public what knows if that happened. The second thing they will do if they feel that the victim is out of their control and going to go, and maybe it's going to tell them, they'll start their smear campaign. And luckily for me, that's where mine ended, is he did a smear campaign. He tried to tell everybody, classic things that you would expect. I was insane. I was no good. There was infidelity in our marriage on my part, which wasn't true. Things like that will start to put word out in the community, or social circles or family, so that they're less likely to believe the victim because the narcissist gets to them first and smears them, basically, tries to discredit them. And then the other thing, sadly, that they will do, and this is much less common, but it is in extreme cases, is they will murder their victims. And I think that that's probably why Brian murdered her, was because he knew she was going to leave him. He wanted to have utter, complete control over her. And rather than lose that control, he exercised the utmost control. And whether it was premeditated or just sort of out of the blue, spur of the moment, he killed her. And I think that anyone that is in a relationship like this ought to know that these are sort of the paths that the narcissist will consider, and they will probably take one of the three whenever they feel that like they're going to lose control. And so the smear campaign, while horrible, is not the worst outcome.